Hi guys, what's up? This is Elliot or Venruki, whatever you want to call me. And today we are going to try something a little bit different, something new. I'm going to actually break down some clips from playing a Rogue Mage 2v2 session with Pikaboo. We normally play at around 2400, 2500 MMR. We've had a few queue sessions together. It's always really fun, but I just wanted to break down some of the strategies that we use, some of the openers that we use, just to give you guys a little bit better of an idea of how this comp kind of works against some popular compositions. Now, in this matchup, we were playing Subtlety Rogue Arcane Mage versus an Asa Discipline Priest. We can go ahead and roll the clip. I need to mute with the sound. This is an interesting opener. So this is an opener that I actually learned from ZIQO while we were roommates together. And it's a very effective opener, especially against teams that aren't expecting it. So essentially what we're gonna do is put the team in a situation where they panic, okay? So this is the move. Before I go invisible, I'm gonna use my invisibility, I'm gonna use my charged up, I'm gonna get the arcane orb, so my damage is sort of prepped up. The priest is in a sap, and what I'm gonna do is use my mass invisibility and drop a ring around the priest. Now what that is going to do is create a situation where the rogue doesn't know the Ring of Frost is there. And because of the smoke bomb, he's gonna panic and run in and try to peel for his priest because he thinks we're gonna be going all in on him. Little does he know, we set up a little bit of a booby trap because when you use mass invisibility, the Ring of Frost is actually something you can't see. So there we go. We get the sap on the priest. I drop a Ring of Frost from invisibility. Smoke bomb gets dropped down. And now we're just gonna blow all our cooldowns. We want this priest to use something, okay? So what happens? The rogue, as predicted, runs in, tries to help his priest, but now he's caught in a Ring of Frost. Now he's thinking, do I trinket? We use pain suppression. And at this moment, because the rogue is not trinketing and because the priest is not trinketing, we have an opportunity to actually all in them. So they're kind of panicking. They're being greedy with their cooldowns. So what I'm doing, I'm just gas pedaling as many arcane power or arcane blasts as I can. And we ultimately do take him down, but a couple different things can happen in this situation. Either the rogue will trinket right away, and there's actually, this is kind of scummy, but there's a little bug with the Ring of Frost from invisibility that it'll actually reactivate. So if the rogue runs into the Ring of Frost and he trinkets, he'll actually get re-rung. So it's kind of busted in that way. You actually keep CCing the rogue. If the priest doesn't trinket and he only uses pain sub, you can actually all in him. If he does trinket, that puts you in a situation where all of a sudden you can swap to the rogue. Especially if he's already trinketed the first Ring of Frost. You can just blind the priest and you can swap to the rogue, try to get pressure that way. And if you get both trinkets in the opener that way by blinding the priest, then he ultimately trinkets since he didn't trinket the stun. You have a lot of pressure and you can go for a reset at that point, try to go for a re-stealth, but you're basically in a situation where all you need is one clean stun lock. So that is why I think that opener is just so strong. Now moving forward into the next game, if I can find it really quick, cue intermission. All right, we're back. So the next game we have here is against a Mistweaver and a Warrior. Now I found, especially as Arcane Mage Sub-Rogue, you do very well against this composition. Now, what we like to do is play hyper aggressive in this matchup. So I'll normally blow all my cooldowns from stealth. I'll end up using my arcane power. Well, I'll use my charged up at the beginning of the game. Then when I'm in mass invisibility, I use my arcane power. I use my presence of mind, my on-use trinket, so I can get damage rolling early on because we try to all in them and play really, really aggressive. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. I use my charged up. I'm gonna go invisible. Now we're moving in. We're looking for the sap on the Mistweaver. Once we secure the sap, that is when I decide, you know what, mass invis, arcane power. Sorry, not mass invis, just arcane power, the presence of mind, getting my blasts out, getting a lot of damage. Now it's my job right now to also get the re-CC. So I get my 2 blasts out, I go for the polymorph. You can see the warrior's already very low. I'm still spamming out the blasts, and the warrior kind of panics at this point. I get the resheep as well. Warrior didn't actually trinket, but we did end up getting the life cocoon from the monk. We were a little slow on some of the re-CC. So Pikaboo actually goes for a DR cheap shot into a blind. Now, there's another tactic we use quite often. So there is a rogue talent called Shadowy Duel, and we'll often from the opener use a shadowy duel. So if we get a sap on the healer, into a sheep, into a sheep, into a blind, there's almost 100% chance we've generated enough pressure at that point that the healer is going to have to trinket the blind, right? That's very standard. He sits the opening CC, the blind comes, he trinkets. It's a fair trade. But what we like to do is actually use the shadowy duel to put these melee in a 1v1 situation against me. So Pikaboo will basically take the healer out of the game. As you can see here, he's trinketed the blind, shadowy duel comes in, and now it's just me versus this warrior. And as an arcane mage, you can see I have a lot of mobility. I can pre-blink, his heroic leap, his charges. And now what we're essentially doing is waiting for DRs to come up on this Mistweaver Monk. You can see a little bit up in the corner of your screen. We got about 3 seconds left on Polymorph. He's got no trinket available. He's trying to cast right now, and I actually interrupt him. So this is really good for us. The warrior's about 50% HP, full interrupt on the monk. And at this point, we're just waiting for Pikaboo to get a stun on both of them. I can easily follow it up with a polymorph out of the lockout. I get leg swept. I know we're gonna kill, so I don't really care. Throwing out my ice block just as an extra PvP trinket. The Mistweaver Monk gets caught into the kidney, and at this point, the warrior's 50% HP. I secure the full polymorph, and it's pretty much good night for these guys. And that's kind of what can happen when you have a hyper aggressive opener like that with the blind, with the shadowy duel, with the polymorphs, using your offensive cooldowns. You can put people in a situation where they really can't do too much, and you're just waiting for that second stun lock to close out the game. So this matchup normally is something that we win, but I think it can spiral out of control relatively quickly if you're not doing the right thing. So hopefully this strategy helps you guys out a little bit. Now, I just wanted to show you those 2 clips. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something about Rogue Mage 2s. Honestly, my favorite comp in the game right now. So if you haven't tried it, try to find a Rogue, try to find a Mage that can play it, because it's very fast paced, it's fun. If you lose, you're kind of supposed to lose, right? You're playing double DPS and a healer meta in 2s, so whatever. But you can get your cap done quickly. You can come up with sort of these unique all-in strategies that are really cool. So let me know what you guys thought about this video. If you guys want to see more content like this, let me know. And yeah, have a great afternoon, morning, or evening, and we'll see you next time. Peace out, friends.